The story of Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, better known as El Mencho, is a dark transformation from the avocado orchards of Michoacán to the pinnacle of global organized crime. It is a tale of strategic violence, logistical brilliance, and the brutal evolution of the Mexican drug trade. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Early life, the roots in the Tierra Caliente. Born on July 17, 1966, in the small rugged town of Aguililla, Michoacán, Nemesio was one of 6 brothers in a family struggling against the crushing weight of rural poverty. The region known as the Tierra Caliente, hot land, was famous for 2 things: its fertile soil and its lawlessness. The Oseguera family made their living cultivating avocados, a staple of the Michoacán economy. However, the margins were thin. Nemesio, a quiet but observant child, dropped out of primary school in the 5th grade. By the age of 10, his hands were calloused from working the fields, but he soon realized that the real money in the Tierra Caliente didn't come from fruit, it came from the poppy and marijuana hidden in the hills. In the 1980s, seeking the American dream that many of his peers chased, Nemesio immigrated illegally to the United States. He settled in California, moving between San Francisco and Sacramento. It was here that his criminal education truly began. Far from the rural fields, he became a runner and street-level dealer. In 1986, he was arrested for possession of a controlled substance, and later, in 1992, he faced his most significant legal blow, a conviction for conspiracy to distribute heroin. He served 3 years in a U.S. federal prison. It was during this time that he hardened. When he was deported back to Mexico in the mid-90s, he didn't return to the avocado fields. He joined the police force in Cabo Corrientes and Tomatlan, Jalisco. This inside experience gave him invaluable knowledge of how the state functioned and how it could be bypassed or corrupted. Criminal career, the architect of the new generation. Nemesio eventually left the police force to join the Milenio Cartel, an organization then subservient to the powerful Sinaloa Cartel. He married Rosalinda González Valencia, whose family, Los Quinis, were expert money launderers. This alliance between Oseguera's muscle and the Quinis' financial intellect created a formidable foundation. In the late 2000s, the Mexican drug landscape shifted. The death of Ignacio Nacho Coronel, the Sinaloa cartel's point man in Jalisco, created a massive power vacuum. The Milenio Cartel splintered. One faction, Los Torcidos, was led by El Mencho. They rebranded themselves as the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación, CJNG. Unlike older cartels that tried to maintain a level of social peace, El Mencho's CJNG was built on the principle of overwhelming force. They used social media to broadcast their firepower, displaying armored convoys and tactical gear that rivaled the Mexican military. El Mencho was not just a drug lord, he was a paramilitary commander. Rise to power, the fentanyl kingpin. The CJNG's rise was meteoric. While El Chapo Guzman and the Sinaloa cartel were bogged down by internal strife and the weight of U.S. intelligence, El Mencho expanded. He seized control of the port of Lázaro Cárdenas and the port of Manzanillo. These were the gateways for precursor chemicals arriving from Asia. Under his leadership, the CJNG pioneered the large-scale production of fentanyl. This synthetic opioid was cheaper to produce and more potent than heroin, allowing the cartel to amass wealth at a rate never before seen in criminal history. By 2015, El Mencho was declared a most wanted man. His tactics were legendary for their audacity. In one instance, his gunmen used a rocket-propelled grenade, RPG, to shoot down a Mexican military helicopter. He was no longer hiding. He was at war with the state. The U.S. government placed a $15 million bounty on his head, making him one of the most expensive targets in the world. Death. The fall in Tapalpa. For years, rumors circulated about El Mencho's failing health, with reports suggesting he suffered from severe kidney disease and had even built a private hospital in the mountains. However, his end did not come from illness, but from the very violence he had championed. On February 22, 2026, acting on high-level intelligence regarding a meeting of CJNG commanders, the Mexican Secretariat of National Defense, SEDENA, launched a high-stakes military operation in Tapalpa, Jalisco. The town, usually a quiet tourist destination, turned into a war zone. Black Hawk helicopters hovered over the pine forests as special forces moved toward a fortified compound. In the ensuing firefight, El Mencho was killed. The aftermath was immediate and chaotic. Within hours of his death being confirmed, narco-bloqueos, narco-blockades, erupted across Jalisco and Guanajuato. CJNG cells set fire to buses and convenience stores, a desperate scorched earth response to the loss of their leader,